All right, welcome to another episode of Mini BTP. I am Brandon Mileski, Pat Micheletti with me as well. When we do our Mini BTP, we just discuss one topic. We'll get to that shortly, but Pat, first, why don't you tell us about our sponsor?
All right. Are you on a beer league hockey team? Check out our contest page at kfan.com for a chance to get yourself sponsored by Michelob Golden Light.
Excellent. And our topic today, Pat, is will the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers hockey team and the University of St. Thomas Tommies hockey team become a rivalry? Pat, obviously, I think we're well aware of all the Gophers rivals over the years, North Dakota and Wisconsin, Minnesota Duluth, and then you started adding Mankato and St. Cloud and Bemidji State as they became D1. Now you got another team that jumped up from Division III. They're in their third year. From a geography standpoint, it's as close as it can get. And at least over the last weekend when they played each other, I thought it was a good atmosphere, good crowd Friday night at the X, and competitive hockey as well.
100%, Brandon. You were at the X. You saw the atmosphere. You saw what was really impressive was the St. Thomas student section. It was packed. You and I talked about this right when they went Division I. And I said, I thought it is going to be a gold mine. And with their new building that's going to seat 5,000 people, which will be coming in 2 years, I think it's going to be just a terrific rivalry. I hope they play each other every year because it'll be great. And if you look at where St. Thomas has come from year one to where they are now in year three, it's amazing. They added, Coach Blasi, Rico Blasi, has done a terrific job along with his assistants in building the team the way they want to build it. And they this year, I think they've added 436 man games through the transfer portal. And you combine that with the young recruits that they have, and they have good recruits coming in. I think it's a really good recipe. It's their way. And I tell you what, they gave Minnesota, they could have won both games. I mean, they literally could have won both games. And that's how razor thin hockey is at the collegiate level. So good on them. And I look forward to it.
Yeah, Friday night I thought was a big night for the program for the University of St. Thomas. From not just from a competitive standpoint on the ice, where they were in year one, to the point where they are still missing some high end talent that the Gophers have. Right, they don't have a Snuggerud on their team, and that's kind of was the difference on the weekend, is they didn't have a Snuggerud, but they could skate with them, and they worked. They worked hard. They were physical. I just thought their intensity, the energy they brought, and this is a program, Pat, that is currently playing out of St. Thomas Academy's rink, and they are offering shuttles for students to travel, and they have had a hard time getting students to want to take that shuttle to watch the team in a rink that's small, can only fit a little over 1,000 people.
Right.
And to see that St. Thomas crowd Friday night, because their student section brought it. I mean, they not only from a volume in terms of just the amount of people there, but also volume in terms of noise. I thought the production they put on for a university that doesn't have like their own jumbotron at their rink, to see the production standpoint. And then on top of that, it was a very entertaining game. And St. Thomas, reeled off 4 in a row. They came back after they'd given up the go-ahead goal to the Gophers, ended up losing 3-on-3 in overtime, and that great goal by Snuggerud. But I just thought that was as good of a night as it could have been for St. Thomas, and kind of gave them a glimpse of, hey, we can do something in the future here.
Couple things, Brandon. You alluded to the comeback. They could have quit after the first period, down 2-0. They came back with 4 goals. That tells me something right there. That's the coaching, that's the culture, that's everything involved. And they didn't go Division I just to go Division I. They went there with a purpose, and they knew it was going to take time, but the purpose didn't leave. They know where they want to get to, and they have a plan. And when you have a plan and you're starting to execute the plan, good things will happen. I tell you, I'll go back to the rink again. The rink is going to be state of the art.
Yep.
Beautiful. And they want to win. And guess what? The students want a rivalry. They want to cheer against Minnesota, St. Cloud, Minnesota State, but all the in-state teams. They want to be they want to strut around campus and say, yeah, we're going to beat these teams. And I tell you one thing, they were picked higher than Minnesota State in the CCHA preseason poll this year. This is a team that just might, finish it could certainly finish in the top 3. I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but from what I've seen early on, and trust me, as you know, it's very early. So, let's revisit this in January.
Yep.
But they have the makings of a team that potentially could go for a CCHA championship this year.
Well, an encouraging start. They split St. Cloud State, top 10 team in the opening weekend, and they played the Gophers very well last weekend. As you said, small sample size. They're playing off they're going off a lot of adrenaline, a lot of energy. So we'll see as it moves along. But I've seen a lot of people kind of doubt whether St. Thomas can be a legit Division I hockey team, and I kind of laugh at that, Pat, because Mankato was in the same boat at one point. St. Cloud State was in the same boat at one point, right? And Mankato has been one of the best teams in hockey and St. Cloud as well. They've both been top 10 programs over the last 5 years. And really, St. Thomas, to a certain extent, you could say, should have an edge on those teams. They are based in the Twin Cities, which is out of anywhere in the country, and anywhere in, I don't want to say North America, but anywhere in the country, in the United States, that is the best. You're going to find the most best hockey players in this area. And, are you still probably going to have the Gophers have an advantage over St. Thomas on that? Sure. But there's no reason why St. Thomas can't be on Mankato's level and St. Cloud's level in terms of recruiting. And as you mentioned, that rink is going to be unbelievable. And after Friday night, seeing the way that fan base was supporting them, I'm no longer doubting. And let's face it, Pat, in college hockey, small schools all the time. I mean, Quinnipiac has won the national championship last year. 15 years ago, that program was nothing. So it's also a sport where small teams can make a push.
Yeah, and if I'm St. Cloud, Minnesota State, Bemidji, UMD, you hit it right on the head. They are in a metro area where what do you have in the metro area? You have the Wolves, the Vikings, the Twins, the Wild, and that is a recruiting tool right there. Hey,
and lots of good young hockey players coming out of there too.
And a lot of good young hockey players. Now, will they get the first rounders and the second rounders? I don't know. Maybe they'll steal one here or there. But the point is, if not, they're going to get that next tier, and that next tier is not too far behind the top tier. And it's a pretty attractive place to go to school, and it's a good educational institution. And so you can't, you got to keep that factor in it too. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the rivalry between Minnesota and St. Thomas. And I just hope that they're on the schedule every year.
Now let's take the Gopher side of this then, since we're mostly talking St. Thomas here. As I mentioned earlier, let's face it, everyone views the Gophers as a rival.
Yep.
Everyone in the state does. North Dakota does. Wisconsin does. Heck, Michigan probably does at this stage. Everyone has always looks at the Gophers as a rival. So it might be kind of hard when you're looking at the Gophers as to who's their rivals, how you rank them. I would still think North Dakota is number one, even though they're not in the same conference anymore. But where do you view St. Thomas ended up being kind of in this hierarchy of the Gophers rivals from the Gopher standpoint?
Well, I think it's still evolving. But after this past weekend, I think it'll just continue to grow, right? And the energy about beating Minnesota. I know it'll be number one for St. Thomas. And I think, at some point now they're in different leagues, which is, different. Again, I don't even get me going, because I think all six should be in the same conference. It would be every rink in every college rink would be sold out every weekend because of the in-state rivals. But I have no say in that, and it irritates me, but we move on. But I think I certainly, as far as state rivalries, I think this could end up being number one.
Now that they have 6 teams in the state, we need to bring back the North Star Cup. So nice even number to throw in there.
I have even I want to propose the day of hockey in Minnesota, or whatever you want to, hockey day in Minnesota, where you don't even have to call it a tournament, right?
Sure.
Just
have them all play each other.
St. Cloud play Minnesota State, whatever.
3 games back, triple header.
Yeah, switch it around each year, and it would sell out, and you could get one ticket for all 3 games, and split the revenue, give it away to youth hockey, whatever. And I think that would be just a wonderful day of hockey. I hope someone thinks of that and takes it.
You just did. You just did think of it. Hopefully they're listening.
Because I think it would be great, don't you? All the teams.
I would love it. Yeah.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
All right, Pat. Thanks as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a great day, Brandon. Thank you.
He's Pat Micheletti. I'm Brandon Mileski. This has been another episode of Mini BTP. We will talk to you next week right here on Beyond the Pod. Bye.